On this sacred burial ground deep in the forests of Guam, two young Chamorros chant an ancient reminder to believe in themselves. It's a tradition that strengthens them as they fight U.S. plans for their homeland, which include turning this site into a firing range. With the U.S. refocusing its forces to the Asia-Pacific, the U.S. naval base here is meant to be preparing for the arrival of 5,000 more troops and their dependents. And while existing facilities are being upgraded, full-on expansion has yet to begin, delayed by the challenges brought on by the local community.
The world can be a dangerous place, and the U.S. military, along with our allies and partners, are dedicated to ensure the security, stability, and safety.
Guam has long been a strategic point between the East and the West. This U.S. territory is about 10,000 kilometers from the U.S. mainland, closer to North Korea and China. The goal is to turn Guam into a regional security hub, integrating the U.S. Air Force and Navy to counter what Washington and her allies here see as the challenges to the freedom and security of the region. The planned military buildup will cost some $8 billion U.S. dollars, with Japan paying a portion of the bill. But there's been no guarantee that the U.S. government will supplement Guam's budget to improve the civilian infrastructure, which will be needed to sustain the expansion.
For the most part, we're very patriotic, but the consensus now, I think, is not at any expense. Certainly not at the expense of our environment, certainly not at the expense of the people that call Guam home.
Of the 170,000 people here, the biggest group is Chamorro. And though long dependent on tourism and the presence of defense personnel, many of the locals feel there are other ways their island can grow.
Guam can be a hub for trade in our region. It can be used in a much more peaceful way. It doesn't have to be just a military base.
But for now, the people of Guam have little say in their future. Being a U.S. territory doesn't give them the right to self-determination, nor much of a stake in the federal government. They understand how vital their role now is for U.S. defense strategy, and they can only hope this will give them some sort of leverage to ultimately define their own place in the world.